Hey everybody, welcome on into another episode of Winning Bets. I'm your host Jason Mattis as always. This is our weekly NASCAR show where we look back at the last race, preview this upcoming race while we all submit our picks for a chance to win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races. As always, we're joined by William Blackwell. How's it going this week for you, William?
It's going good. Race weekend at Darlington. Throwback weekend, if you will. It can't get much better.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the paint schemes that all these cars are going to be trotting out there. That's going to be really cool and fascinating to see.
Yeah, the paint schemes, I really like it, how they're doing throwbacks. My favorite one has to be probably, I would say, either about the RCR camp. Austin Dillon has a cool throwback. So does Tyler Reddick. I like the number fonts. But yes, RCR has some killer paint schemes.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be cool to see. It's going to be good to talk about this race and preview it. Let's remind everybody, of course, we got William's contact information. He's got a great YouTube channel where he previews every race, and also he does recaps of every race over on the YouTube channel, so you can check that out. And then also his Twitter handle is also in that video description. Don't forget to go ahead and check him out. We're also going to do a free giveaway. What we're going to do is drop any comment on this video. Any comment you want on this video. Next week, we'll draw a name up out of the hat, and we'll give away a prize. William, what's going to be the prize for everybody?
The prize is going to be something special. It is throwback weekend, and we're going to give a cool throwback card, if you will. Autographed by one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Seven-Time himself, Richard Petty. Look at that autograph right there. Oops. Right there is in gold. I'm going to give that away, or we are more like, and all you have to do is comment down below anything to be entered in a random drawing. And who knows, you might be receiving a Richard Petty autograph in the mail here sometime soon.
All right, can't wait for that. As William just said, drop a comment on this video and we'll draw a lucky name out of the hat next week. And let's take a second here to recap last week's race over at Kansas. Of course, it was won by Kyle Busch. Went ahead and get the victory. I'd like to actually get your thoughts on this race here, William. To me, it was like just a good race. Nothing real too exciting. Nothing really stood out. What were some of your takeaways from the Kansas race?
Early on, we saw the two-car Brad Keselowski open up a big lead. However, towards the end of stage one, he caught lap traffic, and once he did, it slowed down his lap time tremendously, and it caused the 5-car Kyle Larson, the 18-car Kyle Busch, and the 8-car Tyler Reddick to catch up to him. And no one could really get past him because clean air and dirty air is key, and the second-place car is full of dirty air, but eventually Keselowski ran it up a little too high, then Larson got below, passed him, slide job here and there. And then eventually Kyle Busch, really good at Kansas, passed them both to win stage one. Stage two was kind of a snooze fest, if you will. But stage three started. It was up and down. And then at the end we saw, I don't know if you remember, the controversial caution about the tire coming out into the infield and NASCAR waiting to throw out the caution. I did not agree with that by any means. I feel bad for Chris Lambert and Brian Patty. Those are two crew chiefs that decided to stay out there for Chris Buescher and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They were hoping to catch a break, and they would have probably brought home a top 10 finish. Buescher did, but Stenhouse didn't. But, man, that was a terrible call by NASCAR to cycle things out and then throw the yellow. And we saw a lot of restarts at the end. And Kevin Harvick, he came out of nowhere to finish second, and he had a late penalty on pit road. That shows a lot about that Ford team heading into Darlington, in which they won 2 races last year in 2020.
Yeah, that Ford team seems to be coming around here. They had a great showing there at Talladega, and you just mentioned, the second place finish, here last week at Kansas. Yeah, that tire issue, just sitting there on that grass, and that's nowhere near the track. Just nowhere near the track. I guess NASCAR just wanted, to get in a restart to have a little exciting to a finish, so they got what they wanted. But yeah, some drivers were definitely, on the wrong end of that one. That was brutal, just brutal. I had a pretty good race weekend there in terms of predicting drivers. I thought Kyle Larson would be strong. Winning stage 2, he was strong, and he was right there at the end until, obviously him and his team had some, misjudgment there in terms of how they want to do that last restart. Tyler Reddick had a nice weekend there for me, so my predictions weren't all that far off. I had a nice weekend there. Let's go ahead now and turn our focus now to Darlington, where we got this Goodyear 400. It's another intermediate track, cooker cutter, if you so to speak, if you want to call it that. The guys raced here 3 times last year in 2020. There was 2 of those races were won by Harvick. One of them was won by Hamlin. There was that weird situation back in May post-COVID where they had, kind of like a double header here, where they raced 2 times in the same weekend here back in May, and then the other race was in September. What were some of your takeaways from last year's race that maybe you're looking forward to again this weekend?
Last year, but all 3 races at Darlington, especially when they returned from that long break in May last year, we saw the Ford Mustangs really fast, especially these Stewart-Haas cars. Kevin Harvick won the Sunday race. Wednesday night rolls around, and we see Clint Boyer, who is now in the Fox booth, dominate and win both stages. And at the end, he is nowhere where to be found. And Hamlin won the race. But in the fall, when they came back, Kevin Harvick was so fast and won that race. So the Fords are really fast here at Darlington, especially the Stewart-Haas cars. They've been off the pace this year, but it will be interesting to see if they can get things turned around this Sunday at Darlington.
It will be, and I'll be interested here to get your predictions here in your drivers here, because it's exactly that. They were super strong last year, but they have been off the pace this year. But maybe, like I said, Harvick has turned the corner here in these last 2 races. So with that being said, let's jump on into it. As you know, we can win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races. This is where they give you 6 groups of drivers. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the group, and then you got to give them a winner and a second place finish. Nobody won the jackpot last week who plays this game. It's our week, so let's give these people some winning picks. I'll start it off with Group 1 first. You got Hamlin, Truex, Larson, Harvick, and Elliott. Obviously, this is week in, week out, the toughest group by far. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kyle Larson. Look, Kyle Larson wasn't involved in 2020. There were so many times last year where I wanted to pick Kyle Larson. If you look at his numbers, he's strong at a lot of these tracks. If you look at him in 2019, 2018, he finished 2nd and 3rd in those races, but he was top 5 in 6 of those 5 stages. So just a guy who not only finished strong, but was strong in all the stages, at well. And then he did all that with Chip Ganassi Racing. So he's obviously on a better team now, with the Hendrick boys. So I'm expecting him, to have a nice finishing this weekend. He's raced here all of 6 races, and he's got 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s in those 6 races. I'm expecting a nice, strong weekend from Kyle Larson. What about you, William?
I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. I'm a believer now. He won 2 races, like we said just a couple moments ago, at Darlington last year. He's coming off a runner-up finish at Kansas and surprised a lot of people. I think momentum carries over into Darlington, and I'm going to have to pick Harvick in Group 1.
All right, Harvick for you, Larson for me. Let's go over to Group 2, where you've got Logano, Keselowski, you got Byron, Bowman, and Kyle Busch. Who are you going to take in this one, William?
I'm going to pick Alex the Showman Bowman. Alex Bowman finished runner-up in the first race back from the long pause last year in May to Kevin Harvick, and he runs really well here at Darlington. A lot of top 10s on his record here, but yes, I'm going to have to go with Alex Bowman.
All right, and for me, Group 2 goes to driver number 2. I'm going to go ahead and take Brad Keselowski. Look, he's got an average finish of 6.8, and he's got a driver rating of 103 points. That's best amongst this group. He's got 3 top 5s and 5 races to go along with 1 win. And to speak about you and talk about momentum, well, he obviously won Talladega, and he was third last week in Kansas, so a driver who's definitely picking up here over the last couple of weeks. If we move over to Group 3, we've got Blaney, Kurt Busch, Dillon, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. I'm going to go ahead and give the edge here to Tyler Reddick. And the thing that I like about Tyler Reddick is we've seen at some of these intermediates and at Darlington, Kansas, the high line is really important. I really think Tyler Reddick is a really good high line driver. You saw what he did back at Homestead. You saw what he was able to do last week at Kansas. I think the high line will be successful here at Darlington, and I just like how he runs that high line. So give me Tyler Reddick. What about for you, William?
I'm going to take Tyler Reddick's teammate, Austin Dillon, in the 3 car. Austin Dillon, last year in the fall, the playoff opening race, he finished runner-up to Kevin Harvick, and it was a close finish. It was in less of a second. So if he had another couple laps left, Austin Dillon would have very well won the race last year in the playoffs, but he didn't. He came home second, and he is someone to keep your eye on, so I'm going to pick him for this round.
Okay, excellent choice there. Let's go ahead and move it over to Group 4. We've got Jones, Amarola, Newman, DiBenedetto, and Stenhouse Jr. to pick from. Who are you taking in this one, William?
I'm going to pick Matt DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto is on a hot run right now. He started off the 2021 campaign slow, but these last couple of weeks have been really well for him, finishing 5th at Talladega and coming home 4th at Kansas. And Darlington is a big unknown. Maybe DiBenedetto brings home another top 5 for the Wood Brothers team, which would be really, really big.
All right, for me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Eric Jones, the number 43 card. I really hope, it doesn't come back and bite me, because he was really successful the last couple of years here at Darlington, and obviously that was with Joe Gibbs Racing. And that's a little bit of hesitation, is he was so successful. How much did the car matter? But when I look back at his overall record at Darlington, the thing that gives me a little bit of hope is in 2017, he got a 5th place finish, and that was with Front Row Racing. So it wasn't like it's all Joe Gibbs Racing. He did it in 2017. I expect him to do it again this weekend. So go ahead and give me the 43 of Eric Jones. If we flip it over now to Group 5, where we've got Chastain, Suarez, Bubba, Buescher, and McDowell, I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Chris Buescher. Look, he's got the best average finish and best driver rating in this group, and he's coming off an 8th place finish there at last week in Kansas, so I think he can carry that momentum over. What about you, William?
I really like the Chris Buescher pick. He's run really well here in the past at Darlington, but I am going to go with Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez has been up and down in 2021, and I think he turns a page at Darlington and brings home a solid top 10 finish.
Okay, now we got to do Group 6, where we've got Custer, Briscoe, LaJoie, Priest, and Alfredo. Who are you going to take to round out Group 6 here, William?
How much I would like to pick my man Chase Briscoe. I'm going to pick his teammate Cole Custer. Cole Custer, he won one race as a rookie, and 2021 has been kind of bad for him. But you know what, Darlington, he's ran all right here in the past, whether it's Cup or Xfinity. So I'm going to go with Cole Custer for this round.
Okay, I like that choice as well. When I look at Group 6, and I've talked about here on every week here on the NASCAR show that we do, Group 6 is like really tough drivers. And to me, it's like, who's going to fuck up the least? And when I look at these drivers, the only one I can trust on a semi-consistent basis to not wreck and do something stupid is really Cole Custer. So I agree with you. Go ahead and give me that 41 car of Cole Custer. I think it's actually they gave us a gift of putting Cole Custer in Group 6. I've never seen him in Group 6. This is normally, like I said, drivers that are just going to wreck and do something dumb. So yeah, go ahead and give me Cole Custer, and I think we'll be treated here to a nice victory there, Cole Custer. All right, now we got to give the people a winner, and we got to give them a 2nd place finish. Why don't you go ahead and take the honors and go first there, William? Who's winning? Who's taking that checkered flag, and who's going to be right behind that driver?
All right, here. My top 2 for this year's race at Darlington, the Goodyear 400. The results are going to be the same as last year's playoff race. You will have Kevin Harvick bringing home the checkered flag to Stewart-Haas Racing the first time in 2021. However, finishing runner-up to him will be the 3-car Austin Dillon from Richard Childress Racing. I expect for him to have a really fast car and pace, so there you go. Top 2, same as last year. Kevin Harvick winning, Austin Dillon finishing runner-up.
Okay, I like that. I've got Kevin Harvick in one of my 2 selections, but not first place. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kyle Larson. It's usually the guy that you pick to win Group 1, so yeah, give me Kyle Larson there. But for 2nd place, I agree. Kevin Harvick is going to have a nice, strong weekend. He's got the nice, strong pedigree here. He was 4th at Talladega, as I mentioned, 2nd at Kansas, and his last 5 here, he's got an average finish of 2.6. You hear that, folks? Last 5 races at Darlington, average finish of 2.6 with 2 wins, and all 5 of them are in the top 5, so I'd love that consistency, and that's what I like to look for when I pick drivers. So you can count on him riding up at the top. You never know what happens in restarts nowadays. The restarts are absolutely madness. I think Kevin Harvick can get him a nice 2nd place finish. All right, guys, don't forget, hang tight, because I'm going to give you guys my pick for a chance to win $10,000 over on that FoxBet Super 6 app. But first of all, let's remind people, we're going to do a free giveaway for the card there that William mentioned, for the signed autograph there. So drop a comment on this video. And also, William, go ahead and mention the people at your channel, what you've got going on there, all the great stuff in the Pick 5 contest that well.
All right, on my channel, I do something called a Pick 5 contest. And my goal is to not only get more viewers and subscribers for my channel, but to bring more fans into the sport of NASCAR. And this week, it's not looking too good for a video. I got the video, but my editing software has decided to give up or quit on me, if you will. So there might not be one this week for Darlington, but Kevin Harvick is my winner. But all you got to do is go down below to the comment section of my videos, type in who you think will finish in the top 5. Go 5 for 5, you get an autograph of your choice. And if you go 4 for 5, you get an unsigned hero card. So there you go. That's my Pick 5 contest.
And if you don't have any ideas on what you can say on this comment, on this video to win that card, just go ahead and drop in a Pick 5 contest on this one. Go ahead and let us know who you think will be in the top 5. That'll work as well. Your name will be in the hat, and maybe we'll draw it out next week. All right, William, we look forward to recapping this Darlington race and getting our picks in next week. Enjoy the race on Sunday. Have a good one.
Peace.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Those are our picks for a chance to win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races. Now let's flip it over to the Fox Bet Super 6 app where we can win $10,000. As you guys know, this is 6 questions. All questions revolve around Stage 1 and Stage 2. And as I mentioned last week, don't forget to look for me on Twitter because we get the benefit of watching Stage 1, seeing how the stage is unfolding, and then we can make any changes to these picks before the game locks right there before Stage 2, starts. So again, just look for me on Twitter. But as it is now, this is how I'll answer those 6 questions. Question 1 is which driver will have the best finishing position? I'll go ahead and say Kyle Larson. Which driver will have the most laps led is number 2, and I'll go ahead and say Keselowski, mainly because if you look at the drivers that are in this group, that are in this question, Keselowski's on the pole, so I think he can hopefully stay out and then gain some laps led. Otherwise, I'm not sure these other drivers will really maybe get to the front of the pack. So yeah, go ahead and give me Keselowski. How many number of cautions will there be? I'll go ahead and say 4. If you look at the average at Darlington, there's about 7 amongst the 2020 races. So I'll go ahead and say 4 for this one. Which driver will have the fastest lap is number 4. I'll go ahead and say Kevin Harvick. Which manufacturer will have the most cars in the top 5? I'm going to go ahead and give this one a tie. And number 6 is which team will have the most cars in the top 5? I'll go ahead and say Hendrick Motorsports on this one. But again, guys, just look for me on Twitter because we may change any of these picks just before the contest locks there at the beginning of Stage 2. But that's how we'll do it. So that's how we're going to win $25,000 this week on the Jackpot Races and another $10,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Don't forget, drop a comment on this video so you can win that signed autograph card there. That we'll do a drawing out of the hat next week. Enjoy Sunday's race, and we'll see you next week on our NASCAR show. Have a good one. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.